Hi, I'm Miraman Rathod, Director of Seva Facility Service Private Limited, a pest control company with 32 years of experience. We are providing the pest control services across the India with industrial and export container fumigation with the pan-India presence. We are doing the more focus on the non-chemical products which are not using any chemicals. So today we have with us Mr. Girdhar Pai from Girdhar Pai Associate. Please tell us about your company and more detail about the product which are the non-toxic, non-chemical products.
Thank you, Hiraman. Our company, Giridhar Pai Associates, we set it up 6 years ago in 2020. Since then, we focused on two categories of products. One is pest monitoring and the other is pest prevention. So we'll be happy to discuss today with you more about our products.
Thank you. What is a flight duo and how it works?
The Flight Duo is a UV LED fly catcher, and we introduced it in 2021, and it works through a very unique mechanism. So inside the Flight Duo you can see a white insert, and this is called the BioVE or the biovisual enhancer. So when UV from the LEDs falls on the BioVE enhancer, what it does is it reflects back an enhanced wavelength of UV, and that UV plus blue light, which you and me can see, attracts flies, and these flies are then trapped onto the glue boards which are inside the Flight Duo.
Wow. What are the difference between the Flight Duo and the regular fly catcher machine?
That is a good question. See, the Flight Duo uses UV LEDs, whereas regular fly catchers use UV fluorescent tubes. So as a result, what happens is the Flight Duo uses just 20% of the electricity of a regular fly catcher. Apart from that, its size is also very small. You can see that it weighs just 1.85 kgs, and you can easily lift it and handle it.
Wow, this great product. What are the check regarding the insect light trap, the food safety audit make?
See, when the food safety auditor comes to your factory, they first see whether there is any glass inside the light trap. So if it's a fluorescent tube, then they expect you to have glass sleeves which contain the shattered glass. Apart from that, you should be regularly checking the fly catcher for its insect catch, so at least once a week, and then maintain a record of what are the different types of insects caught, as well as some corrective action in order to prevent the recurring entry of insects. So in food safety, fly monitoring is a very important part of the pest management program.
Oh, it's awesome product. What are the common mistakes businesses make in the controlling the flies?
It's again another good question. Just yesterday I was at a newly opened cafe, and they were wanting us to introduce the Flight Duo to them. And what we found is they had this gap which we call in architectural terms as the astragal gap. So when you have two glass doors, there is a gap which should be closed by using plastic sleeves. So they had that gap. So that is a common mistake. People don't close the gaps between glass sections of their doors. Apart from that, people don't use door closers, or they don't use air curtains, and as a result there is a continuous entry of flies. Apart from that, not keeping the garbage closed. If there is organic waste, you have to close it by using lids on the garbage bins. So these are some mistakes people make in preventing flies coming into their business.
Oh, how important is the placement of insect light trap?
The placement is very important. So one is when you place a trap, you don't want insects to be attracted from outside. And apart from that, once the flies are inside, you want them to be attracted to the trap, for which the ideal height is 5 feet above the ground, which means at your eye height, you have to place this trap. The third and another important factor is you don't want the trap to obstruct any movement of people or material when you place it.
Oh, it's very nice to see this flight duo. How often should we replace the flight duo, glue board, and UV?
As far as the glue board is concerned, roughly about once a month, you need to replace the glue board, or if the flies are trapped, the entire glue board is full of flies, then you have to replace it at that time, even if it is before 1 month. As far as the LEDs, we have some good news for you, which is you don't need to replace it for a very long time, because the life of the UV LEDs is 50,000 hours. That when you work it out, it's more than 6 years, 7 months. I'm happy to tell you that even the traps we sold in 2021 are working even now in 2026. So at least 5 years, you don't need to replace the UV LEDs.
Wow, it's a great life. Can flight duo be used in pharmaceutical and the food processing plants?
Oh, that's also a good question. This is the ideal product for food and pharmaceutical industry. Apart from the many other advantages, the number one which stands out are this product is basically free of glass. So we call it inherently or intrinsically glass free. So because the LEDs don't have any glass, the trap itself doesn't have any glass, so it's ideally suited for food and pharmaceutical industry. And to tell you the truth, a lot of our customers are all from these industries.
Wow, it's a very nice product. What are the maintenance practices ensure the maximum efficiency of the flight duo?
That's also a good question. See, the product is an excellent product, lasts very long, but we want you to take care of its minimal maintenance. So one thing is, like we already discussed, the glue boards have to be replaced when they are full of flies, or once every month, whichever is earlier. As far as the BioVE insert is concerned, you have to replace it once every 6 months. You need to remember that because the BioVE insert faces the UV, there is a constant degradation. And our manufacturers have recommended that you replace the BioVE insert once every 6 months. Apart from these two factors, we don't want a lot of dust inside the trap. So just frequently removing the dust particles, if any, from inside the trap will help you prolong the life of the UV LEDs.
Oh, I see. How does lighting in the environment impact the insect light trap performance?
This is also a good question. You have to remember that any light attracts flies. So in case of the flight duo, both the visible light as well as the UV, which is not visible to us, attracts. And so you want to place the flight duo away from other competing sources of light. Otherwise, what can happen is the flies may get attracted to the other source of light. So try and keep it in dark corners where there is no competing source of light.
Oh, it's a fabulous product, flight duo. What parameters are important in selecting the ILT, insect light traps?
See, that's also a good question. Now, when you're selecting an insect light trap, you have to see how much power does it consume, which means how much does it cost for operating. So we call it in management as OPEX. So what is the OPEX? Apart from that, how long do the light sources last? So the longer they last, the less frequently you have to replace them. How sturdy it is, you take something like the flight duo, it's made out of metal, so it lasts much longer than other plastic bodied traps. How easy is it to operate and maintain? That is another factor. These are some of the factors you will keep in mind. And then, of course, most important is performance. So is it able to attract and trap insects? So these are some factors we recommend that you keep in mind while choosing an insect-like trap.
Oh, it's a wonderful product.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And how this road exit work?
Among our products, we basically have pest monitoring and pest prevention tools. And we introduced for pest prevention was Rodexit. Rodexit comes to us from Denmark, and we are happy to tell you that we made India the second country in the world where Rodexit was introduced. So in the past 4 years, numerous pest control companies have used Rodexit, and we are very happy and thankful to Seva facility for being one of the pioneers. And we also compliment you for being the company in India that has installed the longest length of Rodexit in India. So Rodexit is a very great product for rodent proofing. It basically is a polymer. The technical term for it is a thermoplastic vulcanizate, and it's called santoprene. And this santoprene strip, which is 62 millimeter wide, it has 10 stainless steel wires in it, and these are set at 5 millimeter distance from each other. And because of that, rodents cannot damage Rodexit. And once you install it below your door or shutter, rodents cannot enter through gaps below the door and shutter. So that's the beauty of Rodexit.
Great. It's a great product. Where are we, this product we can use in the industry, sir?
See, we in any industry you can use Rodexit. You know that we have a funny saying in pest control, which is whatever is your business, the rodents make it theirs too. So it could be any industry. Rodents can be prevented from coming inside through gaps below doors and shutters by using Rodexit. Now, a mouse can enter any gap which is just 6 millimeter, and a rat can enter any gap which is about 12 millimeter. And these gaps, when you close them either below a shutter or a door using Rodexit, then you have rodent exclusion or rodent prevention.
Oh, it's a great, this product. And which are the areas where we can use in the food and pharma companies?
See, Rodexit, because it's a product which doesn't have chemical in it or doesn't emit any kind of chemical vapor either. So you can use it either indoors or outdoors. We have numerous customers in the food industry who've used it indoors as well as outdoors. So common among them are storage warehouses where shutters have been covered with Rodexit, as well as emergency doors where Rodexit has been used to cover gaps beneath the door.
Wow. My one more question is that, sir, how much gap it will cover below the shutter?
Okay, that's a good question. Rodexit has a width of 62 millimeters. However, you can't cover gaps up to that width with Rodexit, because if the gap is too wide, then a rodent can even push Rodexit and enter. So what we suggest is if the gap is up to 35 mm, you can use one strip of Rodexit, and that will do the job of preventing rodents. Whereas if the gap is between 35 to 50 millimeters, then you can use 2 layers of Rodexit, and that will prevent rodents. Now, above 50 millimeters, we don't recommend using Rodexit, because like I said earlier, the rodent could actually push Rodexit and enter despite Rodexit installation.
Beautiful. It's an amazing product.
Yes.
Yeah, and how the can rodent can chew or damage this product?
So, Rodexit is basically highly rat resistant. By that, what we mean is when you put Rodexit below a door or a shutter, even though the rodent may want to enter and may attempt to damage Rodexit, it can't do so. So, the manufacturers, Rodexit from Denmark, they have tested it in a laboratory through the Danish Technological Institute, and they found that when there is Rodexit beneath the door, the rats are not able to cut through it and access the food on the other side of the door. So any gap up to 35 mm with one layer and uh, with two layers of gaps between 35 to 50 mm, Rodexit is good.
Wow, it's a great product. But we are using this product from last 3 years, and we suggest all the viewers you can also try it and use this product to prevent the rodent at your premises, like in food, pharma, or any building where from the rodents are entering inside. That can be stopped, and it's durable. I think it is up to 10 year. It works, sir.
Correct. So the warranty is up to 10 years, which means Rodexit will last for a very long time because it's highly physically and chemically resistant. And unless somebody damages it intentionally, you can be sure that it will last for 10 years. And in your own case, you have seen that customers who got it installed even up to 3 years ago, they have found no damage to it and it continues to last.
Sir, tell us about more about the Rodexit rodent proofing method. What is that and how it works?
Rodexit is a rodent seal. We call it the Rodexit all-in-one rodent seal. And this is a product which was invented in Denmark. And we imported it into India for the first time in April 2022. And it's been a success over the past 4 years. Rodexit is basically a polymer strip, and this strip contains 10 stainless steel wires, and because of the stainless steel wires, Rodexit is able to repel rodents when used to cover gaps through which rodents enter.
Great. How is this product effective than the any other product of rodent proofing?
The beauty of Rodexit is it's highly rodent resistant, and this has been proven even by laboratory tests in which rats could not attack Rodexit. Traditionally, what many users as well as pest controllers do is they used products like polyurethane foam and white cement, etc., which rodents can easily damage, whereas rodents are unable to damage Rodexit because it has 10 stainless steel wires inside, and then also because it's highly rodent resistant.
Great, it's a great product. So what are the early sign of the rodent entry points? How we can detect it?
That's a good question. And what we found is whenever rodents enter, there are a few signs. So one is the droppings of rodents. The second is damages to product. The third is some kind of residues left behind by the chewing of packaging as well as products. So these are early signs of rodent infestation, and they indicate need for action to both prevent rodents from coming in as well as to trap and eliminate the ones which are already inside.
Oh, great. What make the Rodexit rodent resistant?
So like we already discussed, Rodexit has 10 stainless steel wires, and these wires are set in a way that there is very little gap between two wires. So that gap is less than 6 mm, which is the gap needed for mice to enter a space. So that is the secret of Rodexit, stainless steel wires.
Wow, it's good product. So how durable Rodexit in hot and humid environment?
Rodexit has very high tolerance both for physical and chemical parameters. So although there may be heat outside, or there may be some kind of chemical splash over it, it can last for a very long time. So as per what we've discussed with the manufacturer, Rodexit without any intentional physical damage can last as long as 10 years in the field. So that includes exposure to high temperature, as well as any kind of water splash due to rain or any other reason.
Great. It's very long now time it goes. Can Rodexit withstand in the rodent gnawing pressure long term?
See, the stainless steel wires basically prevent rodents from gnawing at all. So, however, we have to remember that rodents are very persistent, so they can attempt gnawing, but unless the Rodexit installed already had some damage due to any other reason, it will continue to withstand rodent pressure for a very long time.
Oh, great. What are any installation mistakes should technician avoid while doing the Rodexit installation?
That's also a good question. What we found is Rodexit needs to be handled carefully. It is not that any kind of gap can be closed with Rodexit. So one thing we want to tell the pest controllers is that Rodexit has a width of 62 millimeters. So the best gap that it can close is up to 35 millimeters if a single layer of Rodexit is used. Now, if the gap is between 35 to 50 mm wide, then 2 layers have to be used. So that is one precaution to bear in mind. The second one is Rodexit comes with screw hole markings. We want the technicians to use the screw hole markings as a guide to install Rodexit. And a third and equally important one is it is better to use the screw at the center of Rodexit rather than on the edges, because if they were to use it on the edges, the chances of Rodexit tearing off increase. So these are some precautions we want pest control technicians to have in mind while installing Rodexit.
Oh, it's a great. See, Rodexit, where we can, it is suitable for pharmaceutical and the food industries.
Yes, Rodexit is highly suitable for pharma as well as food industries for the simple reason that it basically prevents rodents from entering from gaps below doors and shutters. Secondly, Rodexit has no chemical inside it, so it won't emit any vapor, and it itself doesn't contain any chemicals. So it's a highly suitable product for food and pharma, where the sensitivity is very high and the tolerance for rodents is very low.
Oh yes, it's great product. Where all we can use in the buildings?
See, the two places where we have found Rodexit being used in India are doors and shutters. So the gaps below the doors as well as the gap below the shutter, these are places where it is highly suitable. We've also seen some creative use of Rodexit where one customer, a food company, they basically used it to close even vertical gaps. When I said about doors and shutters, I meant the horizontal gaps below the doors and shutters, but even vertical gaps can be closed using Rodexit.
Oh, great information you have given about this Rodexit seal. This product we can use in the pharma, food, as well as in any building where the shutters and doors are there.
Correct. So
Yeah.
wherever you want to close gaps below the doors and shutters and eliminate any gap more than 6 millimeters, which allows rodent entry, you can use Rodexit there.
Great. Thank you very much, sir, for giving the valuable guidance on the Rodexit. It's a very great product which we can use for the wherever the gaps are there in the shutter. What is a rodent fill fabric?
The rodent fill fabric, it's basically a mixture of steel and polyfibers, and because it is almost like a blanket of steel and polyfibers, it's called a fill fabric, because you use it to fill gaps through which rodents can enter a hole.
Oh, where rodent fill fabrics commonly used?
So the most common use of this product is around pipe holes. So if there is a hole in the wall through which pipes or cables of any nature enter, so the gaps around those are filled by using pieces of the rodent fill fabric.
Oh, nice product. Can
Yes.
rodent chew through ordinary foam and other sealant?
Yes, in fact, that's a very good question. Because rodents have very hard teeth, so apparently dentine, which is substance on the teeth of rodent, it is the second hardest substance after diamonds. So they chew through most material used for proofing against rodents. For example, polyurethane foam is not at all rodent resistant. So same with even other materials like wood, plastic, etc. So you need to use a material like a rodent fill fabric, which is resistant to rodents.
Oh, great product to keep rodent away.
Correct.
Why do building require this rodent proofing?
See, the importance of rodent proofing is how many ever rodents you trap after they enter. They will keep coming in until you plug the gap through which they are coming in. So rodent proofing, either by use of rodent fill fabric or other materials like Rodexit, is very important to prevent entry. So we call it rodent exclusion or rodent prevention. So once you do that, then you will have maybe a few, one or two rodents still coming in, but those will be more easily manageable.
Excellent. Is this rodent fill fabric useful during the monsoon season?
See, the rodent fill fabric is made of stainless steel fibers and polyfibers, and both of these are rust resistant. So it doesn't matter whether you install it during the monsoon or other months, and even if it is exposed to a bit of moisture, it's going to last. Rusting should not be a concern with the rodent fill fabric.
Oh, it's a great product. Is this rodent fill fabric resist to moisture and corrosion?
Yes, the rodent fill fabric, because it's made of stainless steel and polyfibers, it's resistant to both moisture as well as corrosion.
Oh, can we install this rodent fill fabric without shutting down the operation?
Yes, of course. The rodent fill fabric doesn't have any chemicals in it, and you just cut small pieces of it and you place them in the gaps through which rodents are entering. And even if a factory operation or any other kind of operation is on, you can go ahead and install the rodent-proof fill fabric.
Wow. Can we customize the rodent fill fabric for the cable entry point in particular?
See, when we supply rodent-proof fill fabric, it comes to you in rolls, and these rolls are 10 centimeter wide and 300 centimeter or 10 feet long. When you need to do rodent proofing, you use gloves and scissors, and you cut small strips of it, and you place them inside the holes through which rodents were coming. So customization means basically cutting small strips. You take an approximate length required and cut it, and even if it is slightly bigger, you will be able to compress it because it compresses easily. And if you fall short, then you should be able to cut a small piece more and then use it. So that's the customization that you can do.
Amazing.
You only use what is required. You don't need to cut more than required.
Okay, okay. How does rodent proofing contribute to the audit compliances?
That's an excellent question. We know that certain audit standards, particularly the food safety audit standards, they call for a preventive approach. That means when you set up a pest control program, you ought to show the auditor that you prevented the pest from either occurring or entering. Now, in case of rodents, you should be able to identify all the entry points, and by using rodent proofing material like rodent proof fill fabric, you will be able to prevent rodent entry, and by documenting it, you can show to the auditor that you have a documented pest or a rodent prevention program.
I have some few questions about the quick change dome trap.
Okay.
What is this quick change dome trap?
See, the quick change dome trap is an improved version of the trap called the dome trap. And this is a product of the Trece company of the USA. And the dome trap is basically a beetle monitoring device. In 2013, Trece, the manufacturer, improved the design of the dome trap, and they replaced the lure as well as the pheromone oil using a lure tray. And this lure tray requires a one-time installation every 2 months. And because of that, you could quickly replace the lure tray and deploy the trap. So that's why it's called the quick change dome trap. So there is a patent on a concept called the snug fit lure, which is there is a lure tray below, and this lure tray snugly fits into the trap bottom. So this is the quick change dome trap, which means you quickly can assemble it and you can quickly maintain it.
Oh, nice product. Quick change dome trap.
Correct.
Why are the stored product insects are major concern in the food industries particularly?
See, these insects are very tiny, but the problem is they consume the food and then they also damage it. And because of this, you can have numerous issues. One is you have a loss of the product. Apart from that, they could result in consumer complaints as well as rejection of exported products. And then you can also have audit failures and regulatory action if the stored product insects are there.
Oh, which insects are commonly monitored with quick change dome trap?
See, the quick change dome trap, like I told you earlier, it's a beetle monitoring device. In India, the three types of beetles that we monitor using it include the cigarette beetle, the tribolium beetles, as well as the cupra beetle. So these are the most common ones. There are other beetle monitoring lures available, but these are most commonly used in India.
Great. Why the early detection of stored product insects are important?
See, the challenge with these insects is they are tiny and they have a very fast rate of growth and multiplication. So, if you don't detect them early, by the time you find out they are present, they would have caused a lot of damage, and that could result in big financial losses.
I see.
Yes.
How the stored product insect causes the losses?
So, the most common way they make product companies lose money is through directly consuming the product as well as damaging the packaging and then resulting in the rejection of the goods. These are the common ways they cause losses to the food product companies.
Oh, it's a very good product for the food company. But where all can we use this quick change dome trap?
See, the quick change dome trap can be used in any food company which handles dry food products, because we say the cigarette beetle is a polyphagous pest, which means it occurs in a range of food products, and so you could use it in a range of food companies. So, for example, tobacco companies also use them because the cigarette beetle is also a tobacco pest. But apart from tobacco, companies like flour milling, then spice companies, noodle, even pet food companies, and any other category where dry foods are handled. And these dry foods should be containing either grains or grain flour or even dried fruits and nuts. So all of these food categories invite these pests, and so you can monitor them using the quick change dome trap.
Oh, we are getting a very good insight of the quick change dome trap.
Okay.
What role do pheromone traps play in a stored product insect monitoring?
See, they have two roles to play. One is they detect whether the target insect is there or not. So, for example, with just your eyes or even using a torch or any other method, you are not able to beyond a point tell if the insect is present or not. So when there are low populations of stored product beetles, then these traps tell you whether the beetle is there or not. Apart from that, based on the number of insects which are trapped in the trap, you are able to estimate the population. It's only an estimate, it's not strongly correlated with the actual population. So the two things that you can do with a quick change dome trap is to tell whether the insect is there or not. Apart from that, you can have a rough idea of whether there is a large number of their population around.
Really?
Yes.
Great. Which specific pest can we target using quick change or dome trap?
So we have primarily the lure trace. So you need to have the lure trace for the target pest, and for that we have it for the cigarette beetles. Then we have it for the two types of flower beetles, that is the confused flower beetle and the red flower beetle, and we have it also for the capra beetle. So these are the four insects, four beetles for whom we have the specific lure trace.
Okay. How frequently should we use, inspect and service the quick change dome trap?
That is a good question. See, the trap won't work by itself. After you install it, you have to go and check whether it's attracting and trapping insects. So the common frequency for doing that is once every week. Now, after that check, you basically know which are the traps which have more insect activity, and then you will work to determine from where these insects came. If there is a heavy infestation, then you can even check once or twice a week, more frequently than just once a week.
Oh, how can pheromone traps data help in preventing large scale infestation in particularly food industries?
That is an excellent question. Now, when you have the data of beetles or other types of stored product insects, you are able to know which time of the year there is an increase in their number. That is one trend you can determine. Apart from that, you will be able to know whether some infested product has come in or an infestation has developed in the stored product. So it has multiple uses. It's an excellent product for the food industry.
Oh, great. Thank you.